I saw this clip from Amanda Seals, and it was so pathetic. It was such a microcosm of leftists, nut job, and also black folks. So you got leftist nut jobs, you got deranged individuals, and you got black people who are deranged. These categories are the most disingenuous, most evil people on planet Earth. And not all black people are saying negative things, but let me give you a chart and an explanation of what I'm saying. You have white people over here, white people. This is the total of white people in this box chart right here, this little bar chart. Out of all the white people, I think 70% of white people would not dare have the audacity to say anything disparaging about Charlie Kirk online. And the other, let's do it like this, two sides. And this is what I was saying to my mother-in-law when I was talking about it, two sides. This side are the white people that love Charlie Kirk. These are the ones that hate Charlie Kirk, white people. The ones that love Charlie Kirk, I think, are up here. And the ones that hate Charlie Kirk, the numbers are about down here. Everybody that loves Charlie Kirk, 99% of these people are going to go online and say something about Charlie Kirk in a positive way. The ones that hate Charlie Kirk is just this small list. Half of these people will say disparaging thing, and the other half know better because they're going to lose their job. When it comes to black folks, the ones that like Charlie Kirk is about right here, or that's reasonable. The ones that hate Charlie Kirk is up here. The reasonable ones will say as much as they can online because they don't want to look like these dummies over here. And then out of all these dummies, at least half of them will go online and say the craziest, most disparaging thing about Charlie Kirk. And the other ones feel that way. They just won't say it online. So I believe personally, most white people won't disrespect Charlie Kirk, and most white people like Charlie Kirk. On the flip side, most black people hate Charlie Kirk. A very small amount of them will say anything positive. Most of the ones who hate him will get online and say something disparaging. And it's a few of them that hate him that will actually be mindful enough to be like, that's kind of stupid to say that. I'm just throwing it out there. Let's play this clip of Amanda Seals real quick, because this was the most, to me, this is the one that ticked me off the most.
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing. He said it's some new age made up.
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made up new age term that does a lot of damage. But
he also said people got to be sacrificed in order to protect guns.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. Sure. So then how do you reduce? Very simple. People say, oh, Charlie, how do you stop school shootings? I don't know. How did we stop shootings at base?
If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy. But this white on white violence, he died? Damn, B. Life comes at you fast. Empathy, because I have no connectivity. I have more connectivity to someone who is a complete stranger that dies of a drug overdose than I do to someone like Charlie Kirk. Because life is hard. And I understand that. Because it takes very little for someone to end up committing themselves to an existence of numbness. I understand that. That man got murdered at 31 at a college event in the middle of a sentence talking about black gangs. What a way to go. Oh, Chanel. He was actually taken out by an old white man in one of the whitest, whitery, witty whites states. He didn't get murked in Watts now. They took him out in Utah. They said Lady Oleana. I want you to know it was us. Ain't no way it was a black man that took that man out. Not no Utah. Mm-hmm. And right as that bullet hit him, that man was in the middle of talking shit about gangs. White on white crime. These thugs, y'all. These thugs.
All right, I can't watch no more of her. Just know that she continues to say this, using clips that Charlie has said out of context to try to make her point and mocking his death. It's no words to describe how I feel about what she said. And if you look at the comment section on this video, it will make you so upset and it'll make you dislike a certain group of people. Charlie Kirk, first of all, wasn't a racist. Unless you're completely stupid, you would know that. When Charlie Kirk talk about empathy, he's talking about weaponized empathy, which means that people are weaponizing the word empathy now, because empathy doesn't mean what it used to mean. Empathy meaning that you had a feeling or you could understand where somebody's coming from, but they have weaponized that term now. It ain't what it used to be. Now empathy to the left is compromise or sacrifice all that you are to virtue signal your way into saying I really care, even though you don't actually care. Then he talks about Charlie Kirk. I want to say Donald Trump. Charlie Kirk is saying that people should be sacrificed for the Second Amendment. I don't know how people are so stupid that claim that they want reparations and claim that black people were done wrong in this country and don't understand the value of personal self-defense against the government. The same people who cried about how the government did them wrong, and now that we have a right to have firearms, the government can't do you wrong like that no more. And it's worth fighting for. And of course, you don't play the whole clip because he says, how do we stop school shootings? Well, how do we stop shootings at baseball games? Why don't you see mass shootings at baseball games? Why don't you see mass shootings at Disney? Because they take the proper precautions to make sure people don't enter the facility with firearms. How do you protect the school from mass shooting? You make sure you put in proper precautions to make sure people don't enter the campus with firearms. It's not a gun thing. And everybody talking about it's a gun thing that's talking about it's a gun thing is just completely stupid. We live in America. You have the right and freedom to keep and bear arms. There's hundreds of millions of guns out here. And reasonable, rational people aren't using guns to do harm against people. It's only nut jobs that are doing it. It's only nutty people. So how about we do this? Out of all the guns, how many of them are responsible for killing nutty people with the gun? So now let's categorize this like it's, okay, the guns in the hands of good people cause no harm. And if anything, they actually thwart crimes against other people, so they're net positive. They either cause no harm or they're net positive on this side. And let's see where guns are used in a negative way. With people who are nuts. So how about we deal with the nutty people and we won't have an issue? You take all the guns. When? When you going to be able to do that? How you going to do that? And are you going to be able to ensure that the criminals don't have them? I bet you when we find out with this person that took Charlie Kirk's life, I bet you we're going to find out this person probably should have never had a gun. This person had clear warning signs that they were going to do something like this. I mean, you go down the list. If we just enforce the laws that we already have on the books, we will see a tremendous reduction in violence with guns. And if you guys ever notice, the places with the highest level of gun laws have the biggest and worst outcome of crime. The highest gun laws in the land have the most gun violence. New York, you can barely get a gun at Philly, Chicago. You can barely get a gun. You got to go through all these loops and all this. And it's Afghanistan. You go somewhere to Arizona, you don't even need a permit to carry a gun. Concealed carry. You don't need a concealed carry permit. You don't need nothing. You go to the store and buy a gun. You can do one-to-one transaction with somebody that don't even have to be recorded. You can give people guns in Arizona without recording it. I think I'm right on that. I ain't never gave nobody a gun. But you can do all of that. And how much gun violence do we have in comparison to other cities? And I'm going to add this in there for people who y'all want to keep it real. The places with the most gun violence is the highest saturation of black people. Show me where gun violence and drive-by shootings are happening, and I'll show you a population where it's majority black. Do you want to bet me? Where you want to bet me? Where you want to bet me? Show me an all-white community that do drive-by shootings. Show me an all-white community where you can see online right now a white man running down another white man and shooting him in the middle of the street. Show me a video where a white group of white people catch a white dude riding on a bike, jump out the car and gun him down, shooting him over 150 times. Since y'all want to be cute. But the thing is that an Amanda Seals, she can mock Charlie. It don't change the fact that I believe Charlie went to heaven. Charlie was a good man. Charlie, out of this mess, he gone on with Jesus. He having a good time up there with Jesus. No more pain, no more suffering. Charlie up there enjoying his eternity. So these idiots talking about him have zero weight.
My coworker was all in a tizzy because she gonna tell me that Charlie Kirk got shot, and I said good. So we get into this whole conversation about it, and she goes, well, you can't hate people for their political views. And I'm like, yes, I can. Like, that's specifically why I hate people sometimes. You can't hate me for my views because my views don't infringe upon your rights. You don't hate me for what I believe in because it doesn't interfere with your life. Some of these views are dangerous. And I'm glad he got shot. Hopefully he dies. I don't care.
However, with that being said, y'all's community and y'all's reality is worsening. Amanda Seales ain't getting any better as a comedian, and she's not getting any more deals. And black people that think they can grandstand and talk trash about Charlie and say all this stuff, y'all community's terrible. Most of y'all community terrible. Y'all kids dumb. Y'all young girls going to Planned Parenthood every weekend. Y'all the ones twerking online. Y'all the ones getting banned from a cruise ship. Y'all the ones murdering each other every weekend. Y'all the ones allowing illegal aliens to have a population number higher than yours, therefore your vote ain't gonna count. Y'all the ones doing that to you. So you can laugh and you can joke and you can say all you want about Charlie Kirk and the white man. Y'all the ones losing your faith in God. Y'all the ones churches are corrupt. It's y'all. So laugh all you want while your community is going through the ground. I don't want to hear nobody say nothing. Black people struggling hard as I don't know what, man. Nobody want to live around black people. It's and that black fatigue thing is real. You see a black man, show me a video of a white man randomly stabbing a black girl on a train. Just randomly stab her for no reason. I got that black girl. Show me a video of that happening. You ain't gonna find one. Cause y'all the one out here thugging like that. Y'all the one out here killing people. And I'm not saying that there ain't no black people no white people that's doing it, but y'all doing it at a higher level and got a less amount of population to be doing this. Incarcerated. Y'all the ones going to jail. Y'all the one fighting the police on the side of the road thinking you all right, now you're dead or in jail. That's why I can't stand some black people, man. And they make all of us look bad. And I ain't gonna lie, most of them are silly. Most black people are silly. I'm just being honest. It's only a few that got common sense, that's reasonable, that know how to think for themselves. I'm not gonna lie and act like it's half 50-50. It's not 50-50, bro. It's most black people are silly. Most black people you don't want to be around. Most black people dumb. When I say dumb, meaning that they vote for Democrat with no explanation though. They out here agreeing with Amanda Seales and they community stinking, but they won't say nothing about their own community. Where are the black leaders at that are standing up against black violence in the inner cities? Where are the leaders at though? Where the protests? Where the crying in the street? And then they talking about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk either have the balls to say it and y'all don't. It's your people. You wouldn't have to worry about a Charlie Kirk saying if you said it. You wouldn't have to worry about him talking about the kids out of wedlock in the black community. Y'all should be saying it. But y'all don't want to say it. Y'all too cowardice to say it, so Charlie have to say it. And y'all mad at him. You ain't done nothing to Charlie. Charlie in heaven. Y'all ain't done that. These people ain't won over Charlie. Charlie on with Jesus, living a better life than y'all living. So let's go to this guy because he got fired, allegedly. Now, let me say this. Because there's conservatives going around and they're finding everybody that's disparaging, they're calling their jobs and they're getting them fired. I wouldn't do it, but I'm happy I'm good that you got fired for going on and being a piece of crap human being. I'm telling you right now, if Joe Biden were to get assassinated on television and somebody to work for me went online and posted, good for him, I'm glad you can't work for me. You can't work for me. You too stupid not to go online and say something crazy like that against the president of the United States. I don't care how much you don't like him. I can't stand these Democrats. I think they need to be put into the justice system, and whatever happens in the justice system should be fair game. But to think I would celebrate a Democrat getting shot in the neck in front of the world, you got to be stupid. Anybody that will post something like that worked for me, in all honesty, I'd probably tell them take that down. But you go out somewhere knowing how I feel about the situation and still go out and say something crazy, I'm firing you. You can't work for me being stupid. And you don't have to like people, but assassinating and killing the person in the cowardice way is wrong. Line a person up face to face and get into it with them. Go blow to blow with a person. I respect that a little more. You coward going from 200 yards, shooting a man, because you're a coward. You won't face him face to face. Anyway, let's play the clip.
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
So McDum, I guess they apparently fired him for saying that. You know, this is how people like Charlie get in a situation like this where people hate him because of dummies like this. Charlie is only divisive because people don't like to hear the truth. Charlie is not a divisive person. He's just telling you it's two genders. That's biologically a reality. And then you got people in the trans community that's shooting people. And which I would say is not about being trans, it's about being mentally ill. And those people tend to be trans and non-binary and going off the spectrum and all this other stuff. I don't think it's just because you see a person trans, you're like, that person's a murdering thug. It's like, nah, these people are crazy and they tend to do this stuff. They tend to want to be trans. They tend to express themselves in these ways. And that's uniquely to these crazy nut jobs. And so the only reason somebody would think Charlie is divisive because the media says it. Idiots say it. I go to campus all the time and they go, you work with Charlie? Ain't he a racist? How is he a racist? They have no answer. I say, and I say something on campus and they'll be like, but your boy Charlie don't believe that. I say, what you mean? Me and Charlie believe the same thing. You just never listen to what he said. You just listening to these people say he's a fascist. Charlie Kirk ain't never said to hate people. Charlie Kirk has always said we got to love people, but you can call people out on their mess. You can call them out on their mess. You can call them out when they're biologically wrong according to scientific evidence and DNA research that we've done, or I don't know, the education that we have around what the DNA says and doesn't say. Throughout all human history, we haven't had a problem, generally speaking, figuring out a male versus a female. All of a sudden, in the age of technology, all of a sudden, with hormones and all this other stuff that we've developed now people want to get into it more. And it's all bullcrap anyway. And I'm not saying every trans person is a you know, I think people be trans for different reasons. Some people is because they freaky and they want to be fetishized. Some people may actually feel like they're in the wrong body, which is gender dysphoria. That doesn't mean you're a evil person. It just means you have a dysphoria. You have a mental illness going on. And then there's people who are lunatics that then express themselves by being trans and all this other stuff. So you got different classes of people. So when I see a trans person, I don't automatically think, oh, this person is a serial killer. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like, I'll meet the person and get to talk to them and see where they at. To be honest, I don't care what they doing. It was a person at my wife's thrift store that she liked. It was clearly a dude dressed like a woman, but he was nice. So, I mean, I ain't got to be mean. You ain't mean to me. I don't care. I'm just trying to pay for this stuff for my wife. I mean, Charlie don't feel Charlie, his sentiment was no different than mine. He ain't tripping on whether somebody trans or not. There's gay people and people that work for Turning Point. Like, what are you saying? People criticize him for that because he had people that were gay working for Turning Point. You can't do that, man. Look, man, if you can do the job, you can do the job. You know what I'm saying? I rather for you to do the job and love you to Christ and love you to the truth than to alienate you and isolate you when you're trying to do the right thing. Somebody that's living with another man, which I think God doesn't approve of, but you conservative, you believe in conservative values, you're trying to go to church. Then come on, go to church. Come on, do the right thing. God is the one that's going to change your mind, not me. But at least you acting in good faith and trying to go down the path to do what's right. I can live with that. A trans person that understand they have an identity crisis, but they love the Lord and they want to do it, I can work with you. I'm not the one that can do the miracle.